2-hour service, no problems.
They keep themselves distant from certain things in the culture because it corrupts.
When we realized that it was a gunshot victim, there was no gun around, my mind went racing. What transpired? Where is the person who did this?
Imagine a world untouched by modernity, where the hum of technology is replaced by the clip-clop of carriages and the glow of smartphones is swapped for the gentle flicker of oil lamps. This is the life of the Amish, a community rooted in tradition, simplicity, and unwavering faith. Yet, beneath this seemingly peaceful outlook lies an internal struggle faced by many. The pull between the life they know and the allure of the modern world beyond their tight-knit community. But what happens when someone decides to leave the Amish community and abandon everything they've ever known? Join us as we explore the shocking stories of people who left the Amish community and what became of them. Number 15. Mose Gingerich. Born on July 27, 1979, into an old-order Amish family in Greenwood, Wisconsin, Mose was the 9th of 13 children, growing up on an extended 255-acre farm. From a young age, he was absorbed in the demanding farm life. However, amid all the hard work, he found comfort in reading. Classic books like Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn, Little Men, Little Women, Big Smoke Mountain, and Heidi greatly influenced his early literary interests. During his teenage years, he moved around quite a bit, living in 6 different Amish communities across Wisconsin, Iowa, Missouri, and Kansas. At the age of 19, he became a school teacher, teaching grades 1 through 8 in a one-room schoolhouse for 4 years. But on July 3, 2002, after completing his 4th year of teaching, he made a life-changing decision to leave the Amish community. This choice led to his excommunication, which meant he was completely cut off from his family and former community. The Amish community views Mose as a transgressor for leaving their way of life. One of Mose's vivid memories is receiving a battery-operated radio from an outsider. This radio became his cherished possession, and he spent many Sunday afternoons listening to country music and dreaming of becoming a country star. When the church discovered this, Mose faced severe punishment, leading him to a 6-month period of self-imposed exile. When he returned, he tried hard to fit in, taking up the role of a school teacher in an earnest effort to be the ideal Amish boy. He gained wider recognition through the reality TV show Amish in the City, which documented his Rumspringa experience in Hollywood. Eventually, Mose left the Amish lifestyle behind and moved to Colombia. Today, Mose dedicates his life to helping other Amish youth who are transitioning to the English world. His basement has become a sanctuary for over 20 young men, providing them with guidance and support as they navigate the challenges of leaving their Amish communities behind. Number 14. Sam Smucker. Born into an Amish community, he had only an 8th grade education. At just 12 years old, he began to question the Amish way of life. He felt it lacked spiritual depth and couldn't understand why they were so opposed to owning cars. Fortunately, Sam's parents were understanding and allowed him to keep a car near their farm. This marked the beginning of his journey of exploration. During Rumspringa, the period when Amish youth are encouraged to explore the outside world, Sam chose a path that diverged significantly from his peers. Instead of returning to his community, he got married and moved to Arizona. This was a major turning point in his life. When Sam's parents started attending Bible studies that were seen as controversial by Amish leaders, they were excommunicated. This further distanced Sam from his Amish roots. Despite not having a high school diploma, he enrolled in a 9-month ministerial program. This was the catalyst that set him on the path to becoming a pastor. Sam then established his own church, dedicating himself to a rewarding career that lasted until his retirement in June 2017. Even in retirement, Sam stays busy, continuing to help others in his spare time. Number 13. Salama Miller. Growing up, Salama endured physical abuse from her father and mistreatment from an older brother. Her school became her safe place, a refuge from the chaos at home. Despite the Amish rule against photography, she remembers having her school picture taken in the 2nd grade. But before she turned 14, she had to leave school and start working. She felt out of place among the young men in her community and realized that marriage seemed like the only way to escape her parents' home. So at 20, she made the brave decision to run away, to break free from the abuse and the restrictive lifestyle she couldn't accept. To hide her identity, she even changed her name to Linda. After leaving the community, Saloma went through a lot of therapy to help her deal with the trauma she had experienced. Although she only had an 8th grade education when she left, she didn't let that stop her. She earned her GED, took courses at a community college, and later became an Ada Comstock Scholar at Smith College. She even spent a semester studying at the University of Hamburg in Germany. At the age of 50, she proudly received her undergraduate degree in German studies with a minor in philosophy. Saloma has written 3 books about her journey and has been featured in 2 PBS American Experience documentaries, The Amish and The Amish Shunned. Today, she lives in Virginia with her husband, David, and they have 2 adult sons. Her books continue to tell the story of her incredible and harrowing journey. Number 12, Ora J. Ish. Ora J. Ish grew up in a traditional Amish family, absorbed in the simple and strict lifestyle of their community. Together with his wife Irene, they navigated the unique challenges that come with Amish life. These challenges included limited access to modern technology, a heavy reliance on manual labor for farming and other tasks, and following a strict set of cultural and religious rules that can sometimes feel very restrictive. In their heartfelt book, Plain Faith, Ora J. and Irene share their personal journey, including the heartbreaking loss of their 2 daughters in a tragic farming accident. This devastating event was a turning point for them, prompting deep reflection on their lives within the Amish community. It led them to make the incredibly difficult decision to leave behind the only world they had ever known. Leaving the Amish community was not just an emotional and social disruption. It meant saying goodbye to family, friends, and a familiar way of life. Adjusting to the outside world brought its own set of challenges. They had to get used to modern conveniences, learn to navigate new social structures, and find a new sense of identity outside the confines of the Amish tradition. Despite these hurdles, the Ishes have bravely shared their story with the world. Their book provides readers with a vivid glimpse into the complexities of Amish life and the daunting journey of leaving it behind. Their story has touched the hearts of many, resonating deeply with those who have faced similar struggles or who are simply curious about the Amish way of life and what it takes to step away from it. Number 11, Jeremiah Raber. Jeremiah Raber's journey into the public eye started back in 2012, when he joined the original cast of TLC's Breaking Amish. Alongside his fellow cast members, Jeremiah ventured to New York City, giving viewers an intriguing peek into modern American life through the eyes of those coming from Amish and Mennonite backgrounds. The show followed their daring decision to leave their traditional lifestyles behind and embrace a whole new way of living. Jeremiah quickly became known as the bad boy of the series, gaining fame not only from Breaking Amish, but also its spin-offs, Brave New World and Return to Amish. His fiery relationships and outspoken social media presence often stirred up tabloid gossip, making him a fascinating figure for fans to follow. While many fans know about Jeremiah's adoption into an Amish family, fewer are aware of the heartbreaking details of his early life and the challenges he faced after his adoption. In a heartfelt Facebook post in July 2015, Jeremiah revealed that he was taken from his biological mother when he was just 9 months old and was adopted by his Amish family at 1.5 years old. He struggled to fit into the Amish lifestyle, facing disappointment from his adopted mother who was unhappy with his inability to conform. This tension eventually led to him becoming estranged from his adopted family around 2012, resulting in limited communication with them since. Despite not having access to technology until he was a young adult, Jeremiah has embraced social media with enthusiasm. His YouTube channel, which has over 8,000 subscribers, has been active since 2012. Through his various uploads, Jeremiah shares insights into the Pennsylvania Dutch language and his personal experiences, giving his audience a deeper understanding of his life and the unique challenges he has faced. Number 10. Faith Elizabeth Hunter. Faith's childhood was a tough one, filled with isolation and fear. She suffered not just from the community's rigid norms, but also from emotional and psychological abuse. For instance, she was even tied to her sister as a way to enforce obedience, which was deeply traumatic. As Faith got older, she started to feel more and more trapped by the traditional lifestyle. She longed for personal freedom and to live a life of her own choosing. This longing led to a crucial moment of self-discovery, where she bravely decided to leave the Amish community. It was a bold move that marked the start of her journey toward understanding herself and gaining independence. However, leaving wasn't easy. Faith faced the possibility of losing her family and the only way of life she had ever known. Stepping into the outside world was overwhelming, and she had to learn how to navigate its complexities. But with remarkable determination and persistence, she tackled every obstacle. Her dream of forging her own path kept her going. In her quest for healing, Faith sought therapy and began to understand the abusive nature of her upbringing and the cult-like atmosphere of the Institute in Basic Life Principles. Although her parents initially denied these realities, Faith didn't let that stop her. She now uses her experiences to raise awareness about the trauma caused by fundamentalist ideologies. Through her social media platform and public speaking, Faith reaches out to others who have faced similar hardships. She empowers them to reclaim their lives and heal from their pasts. Today, Faith is a beacon of inspiration, demonstrating how perseverance and self-belief can lead to profound personal transformation. Number 9. Timothy Sauter. Timothy Sauter grew up in one of the oldest Amish communities in the United States. Life was simple and traditional, but Timothy always had a curiosity about the world beyond his immediate surroundings. When he turned 14, his family moved to Ohio, marking a significant change in his life. From a young age, Timothy dreamed of becoming a scientist. He would often search for old televisions in dumpsters, eager to learn about technology and science outside the limited scope of his community. While higher education wasn't encouraged in the Amish world, Timothy's parents saw his passion and supported him in their own way. When he was just 8 years old, they gave him a small science encyclopedia, which he treasured and read eagerly. At 20, Timothy's life took another turn. While on a biking trip in Colorado, he met a group of highly educated professionals. Their conversations were a revelation to him, filled with ideas and knowledge that sparked his desire to pursue his education further. Inspired by their words, Timothy decided to leave his Amish roots behind and chase his dreams. Despite not having a high school diploma, Timothy's determination paid off. He was accepted into the University of Pittsburgh at Greensburg. His academic journey didn't stop there. In 2010, he transferred to Columbia University, where he earned a bachelor's degree in biology. Today, Timothy lives in the bustling city of New York. The vibrant urban lifestyle is a far cry from his quiet Amish upbringing. While he sometimes wonders about his future relationship with the Amish community, he knows one thing for sure: he can't see himself going back to life in Ohio or Pennsylvania. Number 8. Audrey Kaufman. In 2016, the OdysseyOnline.com had a fascinating chat with one of its employees about her childhood in the Amish community. To keep her identity safe, they called her Audrey, but the stories she shared were all genuine and eye-opening. Audrey's life story is deeply influenced by her mother's struggles with addiction before she was born. Seeking a fresh start, her mother joined the Amish community, hoping to find peace and support. It was within this community that she met Audrey's father, who also became part of the Amish way of life as their love grew. Growing up, Audrey often felt the curious gazes of outsiders, but found comfort in the warmth of her Amish community. Unfortunately, the sense of isolation became overwhelming for her mother, who left the community when Audrey was just 12 years old. Not long after, her father also decided to leave. Audrey's older sister initially wanted to return to the Amish lifestyle, but chose to stay with the family, unable to face being apart from them. Leaving the Amish community was tough for Audrey. She experienced being shunned by former friends, and the close bonds she once had seemed to vanish, with old friends rarely even glancing her way. Despite these challenges, she cherishes the strong connection she has with her siblings. This family bond has been a source of strength for her through all the difficult changes in her life. Number 7. Ruth Irene Garrett. Ruth Irene Garrett holds on to a glimmer of hope that someday her family will understand why she left the Amish community. Right now, though, she's still excommunicated from her church and shunned by her family and former community. One of the main reasons Ruth left was because of how women were treated in Amish society. She struggled with the constant expectation that women should always obey men and felt suffocated by the lack of freedom. The church's inconsistent enforcement of its rules and the verbal abuse she endured from both the church and her family only added to her dissatisfaction. At just 15 years old, Ruth met Audie Garrett, a 40-year-old divorced man who worked as a driver for her family. Knowing her father would never approve of their relationship, they eloped and got married in Nashville just a week later. Despite staying in touch with her family, Ruth's father still pressures her to return to the Amish church for salvation. But Ruth stands firm in her decision to leave behind the oppressive Amish lifestyle she escaped from in 1996. She truly values the freedom she now enjoys and has no intention of going back. Ruth's journey after leaving the Amish community has been one of resilience and self-discovery. She found peace and empowerment in education, eventually earning a degree and pursuing a career. Along the way, she became an advocate for women's rights, using her own experiences to shed light on the issues faced by women in conservative communities. Despite the challenges she faced, Ruth also found love and support in her marriage to Audie. Their relationship has been a source of strength for her, providing stability and companionship as she navigated life outside the confines of her former community. Over the years, Ruth has remained connected to her roots, cherishing the memories of her Amish upbringing while forging her own path forward. She has found a sense of belonging in a broader community that embraces diversity and individuality, celebrating the unique journey that led her to where she is today. Number 6. Abe Schmucker. Abe Schmucker, the breakout star of the reality TV sensation Breaking Amish, captured hearts worldwide with his journey from the old-fashioned Amish community to the bustling streets of modernity. Alongside his adventurous comrades, Abe dared to explore a life beyond the traditional confines of his upbringing. The cameras rolled as they grappled with the perplexities of a world filled with skyscrapers, smartphones, and endless possibilities. But here's the revelation. Before Abe became a household name, he was just a humble young man from a tight-knit Amish family, living a life soaked in tradition and simplicity. His decision to join the cast of Breaking Amish wasn't just a leap of faith. It was a bold declaration of independence, a chance to break free from the shackles of convention and embrace the unknown. As the cameras rolled, viewers were captivated by Abe's charm, his intelligence, and his unwavering determination to forge his own path. From navigating the bustling streets of New York City to grappling with the temptations of modern technology, Abe's journey was a whirlwind of excitement and self-discovery. But the real magic of Breaking Amish wasn't just in the drama and the spectacle. It was in the raw authenticity of Abe's story. Behind the glitz and glamour of reality TV, there was a young man grappling with profound questions of identity, belonging, and purpose. And through it all, Abe emerged as a beacon of hope and inspiration, showing viewers around the world that it's never too late to chase your dreams and chart your own course. Number 5. Misty Griffin. Misty was born into an Amish family, and by the time she was 10, she was fully absorbed in their traditional way of living, wearing the customary Amish clothing. However, her childhood was far from perfect. She and her sister were confined, forbidden from talking to each other or anyone else. At 11, they were moved to a mountain ranch, where they essentially became prisoners. When Misty turned 19, she made a daring attempt to escape the ranch. Her stepfather, in response, sent her to an Amish community. She stayed there for 3.5 years, but eventually left due to sexual abuse by the bishop. Misty witnessed many cases of sexual abuse in the Amish community that were never reported to the authorities. The abusers continued to live freely among the church members, while the victims suffered in silence. Afraid of the consequences of speaking out within the church, Misty went to the police, worried that the abuser might be harming his own children. The Amish community's restricted lifestyle meant they were loyal only to their own, not to the broader legal system. Leaving the Amish community is extremely difficult. Misty described the transition as being catapulted from the 1600s into the modern era, leaving her to navigate a completely unfamiliar world. Luckily, a relative helped her get a passport, which was her first step toward integrating into modern society. Leaving the Amish meant she was automatically shunned, leaving her isolated unless she repented, something she has continued to endure. It has been several years since she last saw her sister, who remains in an Amish community in the Midwest. A few years ago, Misty wrote her memoir, Tears of the Silence, to shed light on child abuse, including abuse within the Amish community. She believes that educating the public is crucial for raising awareness and preventing such atrocities. Number 4. Barbie Amish. Barbie Amish shot into the limelight thanks to the reality TV sensation Breaking Amish. This show tracked a bunch of young Amish and Mennonite folks as they took the jump and stepped out of their strict religious communities to dive into the big, wide world. Among them was Barbie, now 22, a preacher's kid hailing from a tight-knit community in Kentucky. But Barbie was stuck in a tug-of-war between her craving for freedom and the deep-rooted traditions of her Amish upbringing. She was convinced that it wasn't right for the church to pull the strings of her love life, deciding who she could or couldn't date. Her journey on the show wasn't a walk in the park. It was more like navigating a stormy sea. She struggled with personal demons, wrestled with stormy relationships, and had moments where she stood tall in the face of adversity, growing stronger each step of the way. There was this one episode that had everyone reaching for the tissues, where Barbie summoned the courage to spill the beans to her folks about her plan to bid farewell to the Amish community. It was tense, to say the least. Her dad, struggling to come to terms with her decision, lashed out with words that cut deep, staining the conversation with hurtful labels like whore. Despite the hurdles, Barbie's story struck a chord with viewers. It painted a vivid picture of the complex dance between cultural ties and individual liberty. Her bravery in challenging norms and carving her own path left an indelible mark on fans of Breaking Amish. Number 3. Emma Ginger Rich. Emma Ginger Rich sees her traditional Amish community quite behind the times, with folks not keeping up with the modern world or getting much schooling. Growing up, Emma felt like a puzzle piece that didn't quite fit in. She couldn't wrap her head around how anyone was supposed to find true love in such a setup, especially with no hanky-panky allowed before marriage. When Emma turned 18, she made a bold move. With the help of a rebellious friend and a secret cell phone store, she made a break for it. It was a chilly January day, high noon, Emma shedding her bonnet and stepping out into the unknown. She left a note for her folks, explaining she needed to find her own path. Then she walked 3.7 miles to the nearest town, where she finally got to use that hidden phone. A family friend hooked her up with a kind lady willing to give her shelter for a while. Emma wound up in Harlingen, Texas, a world away from her Amish roots. From cooking for a big family to fending for herself, she adjusted to a whole new way of life. She even got her GED and went on to snag a college degree. Nowadays, Emma's living the English life in Texas, working a job and aiming for an MBA. But it hasn't been smooth sailing. Battling depression from culture shock and family rejection has been tough. Still, she's not looking back. The Amish life just isn't for her anymore. Number 2. Levi Shetler. When Levi Shetler, a bright-eyed teenager with a knack for adventure, turned 15, he couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to life beyond the familiar borders of his Amish community. It wasn't just about the trucks, although the rumble of engines and the beauty of the open road certainly played a part. It was also about a longing for autonomy, for the freedom to explore the world beyond the strict confines of Amish tradition. Watching his older brother make the daring leap into the unknown at the age of 17 only fueled Levi's determination to forge his own path. He saw the challenges his brother faced, the disapproving whispers, the uncertain future, but he also saw the glimmer of possibility, the chance to carve out a life on his own terms. So, with a mix of fear and excitement, Levi packed his bags and set off for Ohio, where his brother had laid down roots. His first night away from the safety net of his community was spent in a dusty barn, the sounds of the unfamiliar countryside echoing around him. In Ohio, Levi found himself pushed into a world that was both thrilled and baffling. From navigating the complexities of modern technology to struggling with the complexities of interpersonal relationships outside the tightly knit Amish community. Every day brought new challenges and opportunities for growth. But while Levi relished his newfound independence, the rift it created within his family was a source of constant heartache. Visits home became fraught with tension as Levi struggled to bridge the gap between the life he had chosen and the one he had left behind. And though he reached out to old friends in the Amish community, hoping to reconnect with the familiar faces of his past, his efforts were met with silence, a reminder of the price of breaking free. Yet through it all, Levi remained steadfast in his belief that the sacrifices were worth it. As he opened the engine of his beloved mini truck, the wind whipping through his hair and the open road stretching out before him, he knew that he had found something priceless, the freedom to be himself, free by the expectations of others. And for Levi, that was the greatest gift of all. Number 1. Kate Stoltz. Born into an Amish family, she was originally known as Katie Stoltzfus. Growing up as the middle child among 7 siblings, life wasn't exactly a walk in the park. She spent her early years working on the family farm, getting her hands dirty, and quietly nurturing her passion for fashion by sewing clothes for herself and her kin. Kate shot to fame as one of the stars of Breaking Amish, a reality TV series that showcased her journey beyond the confines of her traditional upbringing. Audiences couldn't get enough of her story, and soon she became a household name. But breaking free from the strict norms of her community wasn't easy. You see, modeling was a big no-no in her Amish circle, viewed as a sin of vanity. Despite the pressure to conform, Kate took a leap of faith and set her sights on the bright lights of the Big Apple. New York City beckoned with its promise of endless opportunities, and Kate wasn't one to shy away. She dove headfirst into the world of modeling, landing gigs with big-name brands, and even gracing the pages of Maxim magazine. But Kate's journey didn't stop there. Determined to carve her own path, she enrolled at the prestigious Fashion Institute of Technology, where she soaked up knowledge like a sponge. Along the way, she rubbed shoulders with industry heavyweights like Jason Wu and Cynthia Rowley, laying the groundwork for her own fashion empire. What sets Kate apart isn't just her talent, but her unwavering commitment to sustainability. With her brand, Kate Stoltz NYC, she's on a mission to create clothes that not only look good but do well for the planet too. It's a cause close to her heart, reflecting her deep-rooted values and her desire to leave behind a greener footprint. But amidst the glitz and glamour, Kate hasn't forgotten her roots. Despite the occasional pull from her family to return home, she stands firm in her pursuit of happiness. And while there may be differences in beliefs, Kate is grateful for the love and acceptance she receives from her kin. Which one of these 15 shocking stories of people who left the Amish community do you find highly intriguing? Share your thoughts and comments below.